Had a good weekend. Rode up in the elevator, had a slight wardrobe malfunction with the. So, anyways, sorry I was a little bit late, but I rode up and with the elevator with somebody, and they were talking about. I asked them, they were talking about our weekend, and they said they got a lot of work done too, but it was all yard work. So hopefully you had a chance to get some things done. We managed to do a lot of work in our yard this weekend. There were a couple things from last week that at least we wanted to recognize some things that happened on Friday. I had a chance to visit with MANA and recognize their volunteers. When you look at the number of individuals that they fed over this past year at MANA, it really was amazing and impressive to see what they were able to do and get out to meals. And when you look at the pandemic, how many people had food shortages, a variety of different issues, whether they couldn't get to food, whether they could not get quantity of food for a variety of reasons. It really is impressive, having partners like MANA in our community and what they were able to do, and their volunteers and being able to get stuff out. I reminded them, I saw Brian Cooper earlier, that all of our community centers were open during the pandemic as far as to get either meal services. We provide a lot of meal services to kids and seniors. Most all of our centers during the pandemic, so we understand what that was. But it was gratifying to recognize those individuals who volunteered, and again see all the good work that MANA had done. Next was also recognizing Michelle Caldwell and the Monument to Women Veterans. They had their ribbon cutting Friday. I mean, they still have some way to go on what they're doing, but it was exciting to see at least much of the building had been cleaned up. They still were working on trying to get it up and running. I know I saw John there. I can't remember who else I saw, but there were other people I know from the media there. It was a good event, and Michelle's on her way to getting that building back up and running. It certainly was. I did have a chance to talk with somebody who was looking to do some stuff with construction training for veterans, and certainly I think when you look at all the construction we've been talking about that's about to be going on here in the Pensacola area, the greater Pensacola area, I think this is a good time for individuals who have those desires and workforce training needs to get involved. So I certainly think those are good things. So those were two of the things that happened this past weekend. The mayor's cleanup also happened this past weekend. We collected 83 tons of bulk waste, 550 gallons of paint, 185 tires. The cleanup took place on Saturday, April 24th in a portion of North Hill and surrounding areas. For more information on the next neighborhood cleanup, to view the schedule, please visit cityofpensacola.com. We hope you will take a look at that schedule and see where you will be and get your pickup from you. Update ECUA project. Where's Derek? Man, I thought we were supposed to be. Brad, I thought this was supposed to be done last week. This was the frustrating part on ECUA, so we're still not done. All right. Kind of. It seemed like we had a lot of sunny days last week, and I don't know why they couldn't seem to get pavement there. But anyways, it does appear that we still are hoping to have this completed this week. It has been frustrating as we've come here every week talking about this, expecting it to be done, and find out it's not done. So hopefully we can get this done with Main Street and the westbound closure of Main Street there from ECUA. We can get this project done. We thought it was going to be done last week, so we'll hope. At least it looks sunny right now. I hope they're getting some asphalt, trying to get something out there to get it paved. For more questions about the project, you can contact Keith Bell, who is the project engineer for ECUA. He's at 850-969-6653. We ask that you contact them to have that discussion. COVID-19, we've seen positivity rates for the 24th. We're at 8.21, 4.83, and 8.26 before that. Our hospitalizations we'll have to update over the weekend. I haven't gotten those yet from the hospitals. So again, as soon as we get those, we'll update for the 24th, the 25th, and the 26th. The mask ordinance requiring face coverings to be worn expired on April 22nd, so it is no longer in effect. However, the City of Pensacola still encourages residents and visitors to follow CDC guidelines to slow the spread of COVID-19. City employees are required to wear face masks while in common areas inside city facilities, and members of the public are encouraged to wear face masks inside city facilities. We will continue to update the city's COVID-19 dashboard and data from the Florida Department of Health with local COVID-19 hospitalization numbers. So again, we will still have all of those things available for you as we continue to track. The biggest thing that we can do at this particular time is get vaccinated. That is the most important part, and continuing to work with all of our providers, our hospitals, Escambia, I always want to call them Escambia Community Health, the former Escambia Community Clinics, as well as the Florida Department of Health. There are a number of places throughout Escambia County that you can get vaccinated. At this point, anyone over the 18, and we're really making the push. As I said before, we hope to reach 175,000 adults 18 and older vaccinated in Escambia County by the end of May. That is our goal. I look forward to I think it's next week, I'll be in touch with the hospitals, and we'll hear more about where we are at meeting that goal as we move forward. I will say I did I'm looking forward to my friend Mayor J.B. Whitten from Crestview, who's going to be taking over of the Florida League of Cities on presidency on May 3rd. Unfortunately, I did have to turn in my resignation. I would become first vice president. I would become president the following year, but I wouldn't be able to finish my term leaving office. So I did resign that last week, but still very active in the Florida League of Cities Northwest Florida chapter. I think they do an incredible job, and certainly in still participating with them, and look forward to at least Mayor Whitten and his next year as we try to work on how we're looking forward to get back in person like everybody else from what we've been doing. So I did at least want to mention that. Other thing is reminder, the police chief candidates will be in town this weekend. We will be interviewing all three. We'll be hosting a virtual public candidate forum for the three panelists Wednesday, April 28th at 5:30. The forum will be virtual only and will be available to be viewed at cityofpensacola.com/video from the Hagler Mason conference room, which is right here. So they will be here. I believe we've already gotten the questions in, so that was 5:30 on yesterday was where we were on that. So we will look forward to getting that from you. That's about all that we have here. So we're happy to answer any questions that you might have going forward. But again, at this particular time, that's kind of where we are, and we're looking forward to getting that. And lastly, I see Dick in the back, and I was supposed to, I think we sent something out to all of you, but Dick is going to be leaving us, unfortunately, in June. I thought it was maybe a year earlier. I was thinking he was going to be here another year, but I certainly appreciate and understand for he and his wife. It's the right thing for them to do, and I'm happy for him. It means we will lose a lot of institutional knowledge here. As Dick did come with Andrew Jackson when he came here, and has been here at the city since that time, and he will be sorely missed in a variety of areas. He has done an incredible job for us, and we are very sad to see him go. But we certainly understand and understand he and his wife. We hope they will have some good times, and he's a phone call away if we need him. Trust me, Amy's already put him on. As soon as he gets off, he's going to be volunteering for a number of boards that she's already got him set up for. So we will be keeping his expertise nearby the city for some of these volunteer positions. I think she's got your pension board, something else. I mean, she's got you loaded up, Dick. So she knows what she wants your help with. But anyways, that's a little bit about where we are. Happy to answer any of your questions and see what you have. Jeremy.
The 30% renewable energy goal that council set. What are your thoughts, and how can the city accomplish that?
We think it is accomplishable. I would have been happy. I should have gotten maybe Mark to show up today. Mark has been a great addition to part of the part of the transition team report was that we fill that position. We hired Mark last year and started him on his greenhouse gases. He's been doing a number of things for us, but he's hoping to bring a report here that he's been working on this spring. We're hoping to have it somewhere here the 1st of May. It may be toward the end of May before he gets it done. He's still working on a couple of things. I know I've talked with Mark in advance of last week's meeting. Mark feels very good that we can make, certainly by 2030, those kind of inroads into our greenhouse gases and significantly limiting what we're doing. He would have preferred that we focus a goal on greenhouse gases rather than renewable energy. I think certainly renewable energy, the goal of renewable energy, which is good, is certainly the fact that we get reduction in greenhouse gases. So I think you're going to see the city, at least on its operational stuff, focus much more on the end goal, which is I think what we really want is the reduction in greenhouse gases. When he comes forward with that, Mark does, I think you'll see positions that we can take. In my conversations with him, he feels very optimistic and feels good that we can make a significant dent, probably even more than 30% by 2030. But he didn't want to. He wants to underpromise and overdeliver, and so we'll probably keep that 30% goal. I will say at this point, I had a lengthy discussion with him. He was against any position of 100% position. It's just absolutes. He felt like weren't productive in what we're doing. As a on the scientist side, he said, you never know, you can't go to absolutes. So he said, it may sound good politically going 100%, but that's probably not what we'll do here and there. We'll do what's best for us to reduce as much emission as we can, but certainly do it within a.
When you say absolute, 100%, you're talking about 100% renewable energy goal?
100% renewable energy, 100% zero greenhouse gases goal.
Was anybody talking about 100% renewable?
There were some people the other day. I mean, it was the Climate Controls Task Force, and there are several people that have signed up and said, "Hey, 2040, 2050, we're going to be 100%." And I think it's a goal. I mean, and I know Christian, who is on my transition team. He put that in there, and I know he spoke about it the other day. And it's good to have goals, but I think we've been very focused on things we can actually achieve. And I think 100% is very difficult to guarantee. Zeros or 100, it's tough to do. You can do everything you want to do, and you can be doing a good job, and you may not get there. So we've been very focused on what is achievable. I know in talking with Mark, he feels that the 30% greenhouse gas reduction by 2030 is achievable. If not, perhaps we can do better than that.
But that's not what council passed the other night.
And it's what we're focused on.
Right, but just for clarification's purpose, I understand the.
I mean, it's just like it's.
The end math is the same, but like one is subtraction and one is addition. And when you say greenhouse gas reduction, that's not renewable energy.
Some of it will be cured by. Some of it will be brought about by renewable energy. I can't say what everything will be done. We certainly will look to do as much renewable energy as we can. We're doing that right now. In fact, I don't think some people looked at earlier that day. We had done something with Gulf Power, and we turned on had a ribbon cutting there for the new solar trees. We've got a solar shade coming at Corinne Jones, and we're looking to do another one here in the parking lot of City Hall. So we've got a number of those things happening. If we just simply wanted to do the goal, we could easily work with Gulf Power right now. They could put in all the solar panels. We pay for nothing, and it would be an easy point to do. I don't think that's totally what Christian and his group wants. I think they want to find ways that we also work with the mom and pop solar industry. Again, I've said before, I think we got to be doing both, but I think we got to be doing it in a practical way to figure out the solutions. So I'm confident Mark knows what he's doing and can get us to where we want to go. And so that's very much where we'll be thinking about as we go forward. And I do think Mark feels good that we can make the 30% reduction in greenhouse gases by 2030, if not more.
Okay, but just to be clear, that's a totally different thing than renewable energy.
It gets us to the same point. I mean, it'd be easy. We could just tell Gulf Power, we'll put up more stuff for us, and we'll say we're buying electric power from you that you're doing from your solar farm. I mean, we could do that. That would be an easy way to do it. We could celebrate. We'd say rah rah rah. And we wouldn't have made a tremendous amount of difference than what was going on. I think that's what we're looking for. If you're looking for us to say we're going to put solar everywhere on every building, we can do some of that, and we will do some of that. But it will be much less effective way for us to make the change if we simply go to that standpoint, because we don't have all the money. I mean, and we had a very interesting discussion also Thursday night about parking garage, and people all of a sudden decided, hey, it's no big deal. We can build a parking garage wherever we want. We got all kind of money for that. If you got all the kind of money for that, you got all the kind of money for solar. I mean, it's gonna be difficult to get all those things done at one time. So I think we will build what we can, but we're only going to be able to do what we can with the money that we have. The reason the solar projects we've already gone into have been significant and started us in that discussion is very much on the side of we've got to figure out what we can do and what we have money to, and Gulf Power did all of those. They put in all of those without us having to spend anything on the infrastructure.
You're talking about the solar trees.
The solar trees and the solar shade. Gulf Power paid for all that. So it makes it very easy. We can do a lot more of that. That's easy, but I don't know that that's everything. I see your face. Not everybody sees your face, but your face tells the story. That's not what you want. I get it, and I think that's the problem of getting what we want. It does accomplish the renewable energy goal. I mean, we simply go into that point and we say we get solar panels. Gulf Power is getting off of natural gas and go into solar panels, and that gets us the renewable energy goal. It doesn't get us everything that I think we're wanting, which is why I think it's better to focus where Mark's taking us. It's a better way to go.
Yeah, I mean, two different positions, I guess. What about a parking garage with solar panels on it?
Right now, it'd be interesting if we just figure out how to get one parking garage built, but we got a bunch of stories on that, so we'll have to see where we go with what happens. Next time, we used to have the whiteboard on here. I'll get up here, I'll start doing some math. It's going to be interesting seeing how many parking spaces we have over there, what we have to fill, what has to come with any new development, and how we actually have land left over and somehow not have structured parking. It's going to be interesting, but we'll see what we get back. We'll be advertising, and we'll see what we get back, and then it'll be interesting. We'll go from there.
Do you expect to get anything from anyone but Inspired?
I don't know. I don't even know if we'll get something from Inspired. So, I would think we would, but we'll see what happens. Yes.
Mayor, speaking of having all the money we need, do you think we'll have continuous bike lanes from the hashtag to the bridge?
Again, John, I think the question is time. I think that's definitely a desire that we want to have. I think the question will be, and I think that we'll have them with hashtag, but whether we'll get them all the way to the bridge, that's a whole different story. And understanding what that would take with DOT. Again, it's one of the reasons why it's easy for me to say probably the next 2 to 4 years sort of where we will be, and I think we can be accurate on that. Once we get out beyond 4 years, it's really tough to project. I do believe at one time that's if the desire and the position of where people are going is, and I think that's going to happen. I would love to think that we're going to have bike lane all the way up Scenic Highway that goes to Santa Rosa County, UWF, and a variety of other things. I think it will happen. Do I think it will happen in the next 4 years, or will it happen within the next 10 years? I'm more the 4 to 10 years is where I think those things are, but I do think it's going to happen. So I think it's more a question of when it happens. But I do believe the inertia is happening. What we're very focused on is how do we get it built in the hashtag, and we think that will press, once the new bridge comes out, it will press with things with DOT. We got several things we're talking with them. I don't think that's one we're going to pick up within the last 2 years I've got here, 18 months I've got here. What we do want to do very clearly with with DOT. We had a good discussion the other day. We had some people come in that were going to buy the old FDLE building and look to turn it to some residential. It's going to continue to be FDLE for a couple of years, and then they're looking to go residential. And they had a big push. They wanted us to make things. They want us to do the diet, which is what North Hill Neighborhood Association, what so many people want us to do up there in North Hill is to do the diet. We just haven't been able to get to that point because we've had so many other things going on with DOT, mainly the bridge. But it is one of our things when we discuss with DOT, and we had a very good discussion the other day with them about it, the importance of it, and trying to figure out through some of their safety funds a mechanism to make that happen. It really is going to be just paint. But it's kind of been back and forth. DOT says, hey, we'll let you have it. Why don't you take the road? And we're like, and Derek's not there, but Derek's like, no, I'm not taking a concrete road. That's not what we want. We don't want to take maintenance of that. So we're getting there, but I think that's a much more realistic achievement in the next 18 months. I would like to see that happen. We started the diets on Palafox. I would love to see that happen all the way at least to Jordan. I'd love to go all the way to the city limits, and was it Leonard right there, kind of up where? But I mean, if we could just get it to Jordan, I would be happy with that. And I think there's a lot of demand for that as we move forward. So I think that's where we would really like to focus if we go forward with something and get a design going with DOT on that. And then I do think at some point Bayfront's going to come down from there, but I think that's going to be the next mayor's challenge to work with, and so they'll have the opportunity to figure that one out. Like I said, I can only do some of the things. I can get some of them started. I can do some things, but I'm not going to get everything done. So I'm going to leave something for somebody. Y'all can start talking about that election in 2022, so y'all can figure that one out. Dave.
Speaking of that, with your year and a half left, are there any projects or programs that you're trying to fast track to try to get them finished while you're in office?
I mean, the things we've been working on all along, I mean, that's been one we've been talking to DOT since the beginning about, so I don't think we've changed anything dramatically that we're doing. I mean, we have a few things that are moving forward that, things that we've been wanting to pick up and get done. We've been wanting to do. Seeing, one of those things has been a study that we come back. Y'all been asking us about on the homelessness. We want to get that. I see Connie Bookman's walked in, and I appreciate the work she's been doing with John Johnson. And we are working on some of those to get a couple of more shelters opened up. We're going to have a better plan coming forward. And like I said before, it's going to be significantly different than what we were probably even thinking 6 months ago. So, I think when Lawrence comes through, there's some things we're going to be coming in that we're going to have. We're going to have the opportunity. We are in that ARPA money, but we hope that there'll be some that we will actually be able to get some kind of direction from that, and so we'll have a plan to council. We clearly have a significant portion of that is dealing with either housing assistance, keeping people from getting evicted, or to how do we do other housing and deal with initiatives with homelessness. So we do have some things set up for there within that funding, but that's where it always is. It costs a lot to do those initiatives. It costs a lot to build a garage. It costs a lot to put solar panels everywhere. We're going to do what we can. It sounds good. We do have money coming, but it's going to run out quicker than everybody thinks. When you put everything down, we're not going to be able to accomplish everything we want to accomplish with even the funding we have. Yes.
Are you going to be able to get the two-way on Davis and OK done?
I don't know about that one. We want to make that one happen. It's a little bit. The question is, it's got to go through more the TPO process, so it's going to have to filter to the point where on the TPO it actually gets the funding for it. So
is that because of the roundabout, or is that the roads themselves?
I think it's a little bit of everything. So we'll see what happens in that process. Because that's a little bit different. And it's it is paint, but it's also a little bit different in some of the things that are happening. we're gonna see what we can do. I mean, it may be something as we negotiate further with DOT. We may look at what we can do to figure some of that stuff out. So, I mean, they're all kind of possibilities. But I mean, some of the construction numbers I've seen on that, I don't know that it would necessarily work. And I don't. If you could take out some of that stuff on the roundabout, well, it could certainly work. If you could just make one of those roads tee into the other one up there at the top, it would probably be a lot easier to get funding and move it forward. So I mean, you know, we'll see what happens. But I think that's the problem on all those things. You have a lot of desires, you have a lot of things you want to do, and then there's just never enough funding. But I do know that Florida's hoping to get a significant amount of infrastructure projects money. They're looking for things to do that they can do and get stuff that's shovel ready. We're trying to push them as much stuff as possible. So maybe the MLK Davis becomes one of those projects. Certainly it is the possibility that the diet on Palafox is. We have had discussions with them that project could get put into that mix of infrastructure money that they may have. So we'll keep pushing for as many things as we want to, and if we could get Bayfront, we'll push that too, John. But we gotta get that first. We gotta figure out where we are and what we have.
Mayor, could I ask you again about road diets?
Yeah.
Do you have an update for us on the Jefferson Street road diet and also the Cervantes?
Jefferson Street is not a road diet as much as it's sort of a road. It's going to be changing the infrastructure on the road. We're still going to have a two-way road there, but we will have things that do allow for it to close. We do have some other things that are happening with some infrastructure on it. My understanding is it's continuing to move through the planning and development phase, and we'll see. I know we've talked with them a little bit about it and how they plan to implement. So they're still putting their stuff together. We're working with them. The state is already beginning. I follow on Facebook. I see Andrew's driven down there and said that the state's actually started working on Cervantes Street. So it's their project. It's not our project. So we'll follow along and see where they are. But we're definitely following it. But we are not the contractors on it. We much like the bridge, we're following it closely, but we're not the contract. We don't have the contract on it.
On the police chief search?
Yes.
Did Cedric Alexander have any role in the selection process at all?
Cedric sort of advised us, but I don't think. He sort of talked to us about just kind of what we were looking at and understanding what the dynamics were in the world of chiefs, and he kind of helped put us in touch with Gary. But other than that, I don't know anything that Cedric specifically had.
Who's Gary?
Gary's the guy that we hired to do the search firm.
Cedric's also in one of our round robin sessions Thursday morning.
Okay. So he is talking with them, but from his standpoint, my understanding is he introduced us to Gary. I mean, that came from his. He had known Gary, who we ended up hiring to do the search.
I don't remember the dates on this, but can you give us an update on the youth council, how that's going?
Doing very good. I don't see Lawrence in here. I know I've spoken to them. They started right after spring break, which would have been the very end of March. They are, I think, working toward getting a plan. I'm looking at Kimmy or Casey. I can't remember if they had something on this, but I think they're coming together. I think here in the May they're having. I think they're coming to the council meeting on the 12th, which I hate because I won't be there on that meeting. But they're coming on the 12th, and they're going to do their stuff there. So I did speak to them back at the 1st of April, that first week of April. Very impressed with who's on there and the students that are in there and what they're doing. We had good discussions. They asked good questions. It was like sitting down here on a Monday morning interview. They were good. They asked good questions. We talked some just about what was going on and what their thoughts were in building and making a better city. And it was interesting to see. So I think it's been a good thing. I'd love to see it I'd love to see us go forward into year 2. I told them, I said, you'll always be the first group. We'll probably learn and we'll make it better, but you'll always be the first. And I think that will be something that distinguishes you always, is having that opportunity. But we're learning. I look forward to when we can do it for a year long and we can do it without as much code of protocol, so that it's more in person. But I mean, we're trying to make the most of what we've got. There's no doubt, like I said before, I think it will be better as we move forward. But this year's been a very good year, and I was impressed at with the students I saw on there and the work they were doing with Kelsey. And I know they're coming to the council meeting on the 12th. And I talked to a couple of parents I saw at the event. There's a lady that came up to me on the thing for the Monument for Women Veterans, and she said that her child was really enjoying being a part of that, and how much she appreciated us putting it together. I said, listen, thank you for getting your child to sign up. I think that's the important part, is getting them involved and letting them see what's going on. So I think it's making a difference right now. But there's no doubt, I think when we can have a full year and hopefully do it more with more than just virtually, I think I'm looking forward to what we can do with it. But I am very excited what we've been able to accomplish with the limitations we've had. I think we had a good first year.
On the police search again,
Mm-hmm.
were any of the candidates, I assume that all the candidates came to us based on the posting. Did we reach out to any of these candidates and ask them to apply?
I'd have to talk. Ted, you want to come up and reach? I mean, I have not been involved in the search at all until this point, sort of this week. So this is the week I'm kind of getting involved. I've let the team sort of do this. Ted, who is our HR director, can come forward and at least talk to you a little bit about where we've been and what's happened. Ted, come on.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. We did not contact candidates directly. Our recruiter contacted a few and encouraged them to apply. We advertise in all of the law enforcement executive organizations across the country, and then we produce the brochure that we use for outreach. But we did not directly recruit out of the city of Pensacola.
But the recruiting organization, the recruiter did go contact individuals based on
a lot of prior searches. He knew candidates from prior searches, as well as his own involvement in these law enforcement executive groups.
Were any of the top 3 ones that he contacted?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Sorry.
We can work to find out that for you, Andrew, and we'll be happy to get that information. So from my standpoint, this is my first chance to get involved and get to know them and spend some time with them. So looking forward to that. I've just been briefed by Keith and Ted, Kareth, and Susan, and the whole team. All five of them that selected. They have gotten a chance to go through the individuals. So they're all in the room right now. When I look out there, and I'm like, well, okay, all 5 of them are. So if there's nothing else, we'll look forward to seeing you next week, and we'll go from there. So thank you very much.